the computerized all-time heavyweight championship of the world. The 3-knockdown rule has been waived. The mandatory 8-count will be in effect. Any count in progress will end at the bell. Introducing, wearing the black trunks, at 5 feet 10 1/2 inches and weighing 200 pounds, from Brockton, Massachusetts, the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, the Brockton blockbuster, Rocky Marciano! Marciano! And his opponent, wearing the white trunks, at 6 feet 3 inches tall and 220 pounds, from Louisville, Kentucky, the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali! Ali! $15 for the all-time heavyweight championship of the world!
I'm gonna punish him! I'm gonna punish him! And you remember what I'm saying. I'm not gonna knock him out. I'm gonna whoop him.
Perhaps if I could corner him, and that would take some doing, I perhaps could knock him out.
Attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Murray Warner speaking for the staff who produced the fight you are about to see. The film you will see is the result of more than 3 years of research by leading sports writers around the world and by members of the World Boxing Historians Association. It was made possible because of the cooperation of the fighters themselves, by other great champions, trainers, fellow boxers, referees, seconds, and boxing authorities who contributed their knowledge for digestion by the computer, and by the tremendous heart and ability of the two super great fighters themselves, who actually went more than 70 tough rounds which were edited into the fight you will see. The computer told us how many punches each man would land and where, how hard, and if they would hurt the opponent. The computer applied formulae, 4 million of them, to each round to tell us each man's condition. It told us about cuts, knockdowns, gave us round-by-round scores, and of course, who the ultimate winner of the fight would be, and in what round the fight would end, and how. But make no mistake, you are actually going to see Rocky Marciano and Muhammad Ali at their best, because that's the way the computer saw them. It is with deep affection that we dedicate this film to the two fighters who participated in its production. The great Muhammad Ali, who to all of us associated with the production is just a little bit greater than he ever made claim to be. And to the memory of Rocky Marciano, whose death just 3 weeks after completing the shooting of this fight left a void in the life of everyone who knew him and in the entire sports world. To Muhammad Ali and Rocky Marciano, for our respect, our affection, and our deepest thanks. Call him Muhammad Ali, call him Cassius Clay. Many people claim that by any name, pound for pound, this is the greatest fighting machine to ever wear a pair of trunks. Unquestionably, the fastest heavyweight ever to enter the ring. His maneuvers have defied description. In 29 bouts, his record is unmarred. He won 24 by knockouts. Ali defended his title 9 times before being set down by the WBA. The most astounding defense being the first-round KO of Sonny Liston in their return match at Lewiston, Maine. By far his most effective punch is his left jab, timed by Sports Illustrated at 4/100ths of a second. He is most vulnerable to a left hook to the body, and that may cause him a real problem in this fight, since that's one of the best punches in Marciano's arsenal. Ali is a classic stand-up fighter who's been off his feet only twice in his career, while dropping his opponents 26 times. Ali is a high-grade attacker who throws combinations with blinding speed and deadly effect. His fast left hand and ability to cut an opponent could be deciding factors in this fight. Defensively, Ali is a superior fighter with the fastest hands and feet of any heavyweight in history. He's a hard man to hit because he's a hard man to catch. Surprisingly underrated as a counterpuncher, he is actually superior in this category, using both hands to beat opponents to the punch. He and Marciano have one opponent in common, Archie Moore. Ali stopped the aging Archie in 4, while Marciano had done it in 9 7 years earlier. At 6'3" and 210 pounds with an 82-inch reach, he has all the physical best of it over the Brockton blockbuster, who gives away 4.5 inches in height, around 20 pounds in weight, and an incredible 14 inches in reach. And when you're up against a left hand like Ali's, that 14 inches might well be 14 miles. The toughest judges of any fighter's ability are his contemporaries, the guys who climb through the ropes themselves and know the loneliness of this kind of game. How do they judge Muhammad Ali? Here's what Jersey Joe Walcott, the man who lost his title to Marciano, had to say.
I think Clay is the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever had, and I think he knows what he's doing while he's in that ring.
The Cinderella man, Jimmy Braddock, gave his analysis of Muhammad Ali, too.
Well, with a fella like Clay, you always got to be after him. That's where his great success is. He's a great mover. And with a heavyweight that's always tense to punch, he's tiring the other fella out while he's not being hit. And by the time 3 or 4 rounds come around, the guy's pretty tired, and it's easy for Clay to land his punch.
The loquacious Big Eye man from New Hampshire, former champion Jack Sharkey, digs Muhammad Ali.
Well, Clay is in there for a long time, and as I say, that he'll die of old age unless someone drops a bag of cement in his head as he's walking down the street, and he's a good fighter. Don't make any mistakes about it. You take a young fella that's gone through the mill, fought all of these so-called great guys he's heard so much about, and when he's with a guy with a chip on his shoulder, it's going to be a hard man to beat. Guy's a good fighter. He's a good fighter.
Nat Fleischer, publisher of Ring Magazine, has reservations.
Muhammad Ali still has not proven to me that he is a great fighter. He is, in my opinion, the fastest man, the fastest heavyweight we've had in the last 50 years. I don't think anybody that I can name compares to him in speed. But besides the speed, I don't think that he possesses the assets of a great fighter, or if he does possess them, he has not yet demonstrated it.
And German writer Kurt Severin said,
This thing that Cassius represents today, the most unorthodox, almost suicidal style in boxing, which he has developed to such a point that it is actually an apex of boxing in retreat and yet being aggressive. His continuous jabbing is now a very formidable weapon which he can switch over into a hook and an uppercut.
And that's just some of the comments we have on the great Muhammad Ali. But now, let's turn to Rocky Marciano, the Brockton blockbuster, who reached his peak at 29. 49 times he answered the bell, and 49 times he had his hand raised in victory. 43 of those times by knocking his opponents out. The only heavyweight champion in history to have retired undefeated. He started his professional career with 16 straight knockouts, and then, after the climb to the ratings and after taking a solid shellacking for 13 rounds, beaten and bleeding beyond repair, scored a thrilling knockout of Joe Walcott to win the title. He successfully defended the title 6 times before retiring, 5 of those 6 defenses by KOs. Easily cut, Marciano's problem with Ali will be trying to stay away from that lancing left hand, and to do so with his 14-inch shorter reach. It's going to mean he has to stay inside the bigger and faster man. In 29 fights, no one yet has been able to do that with Ali. Jack Sharkey offered this prediction of the outcome of the fight.
Marciano will naturally be trying to get inside. He was not a fighter from distance. He was a fellow that getting close within range of his short arms. He was a terrific puncher, and he'd have to get inside that long reach of Clay's plus his height I think Marciano probably brought him down a little bit, but it would be a great fight, and something's bound to happen. Rocky was good at that. When he hits you, you know you got hit.
Jimmy Braddock talked about Clay and Marciano, too. First, Clay.
A left jab, well, that's all he does. I mean, until the fella gets tired enough, really he slows down or walk, and he can step in and punch with him. Marciano, the great fighter that he was, and we got to concede that he was not losing any fights. He was the strongest fella, heavyweight, I've seen around in the past 25 or 35 years. He was strong and he got by on his strength, whereas you take Clay, he gets by on his speed. Well, I think Clay was a little too fast.
And here's Jersey Joe Walcott's prediction.
Marciano is on a crude side and rough and takes a terrific punch, a terrific beating, but I think the present champ would win a decision.
Max Schmeling, another former champion, said,
I haven't seen Roger Marciano. Marciano was small, was short, and he would cut his eyes. Clay still had many things he should learn, you know. But for what reason he shall learn, because he has no opponents. He is hitting with open hands. He is very open. He's standing in front of the men, very open, and he's a cinch to hit. And I think Cassius Clay wouldn't take it too.
And the great Joe Louis said,
that fight would be a fight like be a Clay and Marciano fight. He'd be running as hard as he could run, as long as he could run. Clay keeps his hand out awful lot, you know, and it moves against the ropes and it gets somewhat tangled up into the ropes. But eventually, I think that Marciano catch up with him.
Jack Kearns Jr., son of the great trainer, had some interesting words, too.
Rocky'd hit you in the elbow, and the next time he'd hit you on top of the head, and the next time he'd hit you on the side and in the back, and he'd hurt you every time he'd hit you. Clay would, as I said, give Rocky Marciano a lot of trouble for a while. He has the style to give Rocky trouble for 30 rounds or 40 rounds, but I don't believe that he could keep his composure with a fellow like Rocky, and that's when Rocky will step up the pace and do some damage.
And so that's how some of the experts look at our two contestants tonight, the super fighters, Rocky Marciano and Muhammad Ali. Now here in the ring for tonight's fight, both men loosening up in their corners. Ali, obviously much the taller of the two, Marciano calm and poker-faced. Ali, his usual animated self. Remember, Marciano gives away 20 pounds, 4.5 inches in height and 14 inches in reach. Both men undefeated. Ali, 29 out of 29, and Rocky, 49 out of 49. For the purposes of tonight's fight, age differentials have been wiped out. Both men are at their peak, and now as referee Chris Dundee calls the fighters together for final instructions, let's cut away for a moment and get their own comments about tonight's fight. We talked to Marciano and Ali. Here's what they had to say. First, Marciano.
Well, I'm glad that we've got a computer being the man that makes the decision. I've never predicted a fight in my life. I've never knocked anybody before a fight, and I'm certainly not going to start now. I'm happy that this fight is taking place on the computer because there'll be no hometown decisions. There'll be no prejudice in this fight. It'll be done by a machine with all the human elements taken out of it, and I'm very pleased about that.
You saw Clay fight, didn't you?
Yes, I have.
How would you describe him? How would you rate him?
Well, I'd rate him as the fastest man on wheels, I guess. As a heavyweight, he is probably the fastest heavyweight of all times. Great reflexes, good moves, good boxer, scientific man, well-conditioned, and just threw a lot of punches.
If you were to fight him, how would you plan it?
Well, I would have to fight him like I fought everybody else. I guess I more or less had one style that I used at all times. I used my weight and my height to best advantages, and that is by getting low, making myself the smaller target, a harder target to hit on the chin, and by bobbing and weaving and staying in close as I could to an opponent. I learned how to punch inside and shot, and that gave me an advantage. I tried not to stay long range. I tried to stay away from the middle of the ring. I usually like to get my man up against the ropes where he would become a bigger target, an easier target, and couldn't move as fast as he could otherwise.
Well, then that will have to be a time that I just quit moving, because no man in the history of boxing or now can really corner a fighter and keep him there unless he's got bad legs or he's a little old, and he have to. But he would, if you remember my fight with George Chuvalo, I was criticized for just deliberately for 15 rounds letting him beat me in the stomach and the sides. But if a man's strategy is to corner me and corner me, wear me down, and then knock me out, then he's taking a big gamble, because if he don't corner me and if he don't wear me out, then he's in trouble. Mainly, you must realize this. Anybody watching this show or any who knows anything about boxing and real fighting will tell you that before, not just Marciano, but any fighter, if he's in arm reach of me, he's hit. He's cut, he's bleeding, his face is puffed up, he can't think, his brains are shook up. And for a man to just keep cornering me and keep coming to me, then I just must quit punching or something in order to let him do it. Anybody that I hit, if I get hit enough, I can be cut. Not just Marciano. Anybody that I hit would cut. And if he hits me right in the right places at the right times, I will cut. But one thing I have going for me is that I've never really been knocked out or shook up. I've never really got cornered. I've never really been flat-footed and slow, and nobody has ever, as much as I'm telling you, as much as touched me on the face hard. So it'll be kind of hard to convince anybody in America or worldwide that a man can corner me as tall and as range and as fast as I am and just beat me with me standing there. This is science fiction talk.
And now this all-time heavyweight championship fight ready to go. There's the bell, and here's Guy LeBeau.
Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, in this, the classic championship fight. Uniquely, the two only undefeated heavyweight champions of the world. I'm rather staggered by the size proportions. Marciano about 5'11", Cassius Clay about 6'3", perhaps a little bit more. Marciano is the shortest man that Cassius has fought, and Marciano is looking at the tallest man he has ever boxed. Marciano's immediate target is to take some of the speed out of the legs of Muhammad Ali. That left-hand jab scored for Muhammad Ali. He doesn't like to be caught on the ropes, and that's where Marciano wants him immediately. Marciano usually works his man to the ropes, hurts him early, likes to show who's boss immediately. Nice work defensively by Marciano, flicking off the left jabs. Muhammad Ali keeps things honest in the center of the ring. Marciano has had 11 first-round knockouts to his credit. Cassius Clay has had 2, among them Sonny Liston. Off the ropes again. A little bit more than a minute gone by, round 1. Marciano will occasionally leap forward to nail his target. A good body rally by Marciano. And Muhammad Ali seemed to draw gasps of breath as he moved back to the center of the ring. The left jab scores for Muhammad Ali, and again. He's faster than usual in round 1. Whoops. The educated legs of a Ray Robinson, the fine, fast hands of a Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali. And scores again. But he'll have trouble sighting that short target too many times, will Muhammad Ali. And scores again with the rapier left hand. Marciano has not gotten too much to the body or anywhere. A fine combination by Muhammad Ali. He's the combination thrower. Marciano was attempting to leap forward that time and changed his mind. Again gets tagged by a left hand. And lands a left to the body that time. With only 68 inches of reach, Marciano will have a little trouble communicating from time to time. Muhammad Ali has a reach of about 83 inches. Jabs and scores again, and quickly. Good left hand by Marciano. There's the bell ending round 1.
As pretty much expected, this round had both men obviously exhibiting caution and not taking any careless chances. Neither one was hurt in any way. They showed a lot of respect for each other. Rocky showing his old hurting ability, but not really pressing the issue, as he kept running into the business end of Ali's left hand. Ali, with his great sense of timing and speed, played round one as if he were following a Vince Lombardi game plan called stick and run. You can see he's ready to go here. There's the bell, and here's Guy LeBeau.
Marciano is at 195. Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay is at 215. The aggressor, faster and throwing harder, but missing. Marciano doesn't like to waste too many punches. He's wasting a lot there. He says it saps his strength. But look at that Muhammad Ali move. That has to be the best display of footwork you will see in a long, long time. Rocky has reaped nothing but the wind with all of the heavy artillery thrown thus far. And a surprise, Marciano goes to the straight-up jabber puncher this time. Apparently trying to coax Muhammad Ali into an exchange. He hasn't been able to do that from his haunches. Left slam, and he takes a left to the body, does Muhammad Ali. 1 minute gone by, round two. He's having his own trouble communicating. The right misses. Ali having trouble with the height factor. And there's Marciano at his best. He's got his man locked in, hammering the arms and the body. And slickly, Muhammad Ali out of danger. And seemingly okay. Marciano does not try to box his man, moving forward nearly all the time with slight shifting to the right by the shoulder, pulling the head back against the long right of Muhammad Ali. Hard shots by Marciano, many shots by Muhammad Ali. And Ali speeding up his throwing, landing harder. Marciano had a very good body rally. Now again has trouble cornering his man. Ali, the shifting, fast, darting target. Lands to the body and takes a left hook to the body. Marciano is very good at pulling the head backward, as the famed middleweight champion Jake LaMotta used to be. There's the bell ending round two.
Ali and Marciano both scored slightly better shots in round two, but neither has turned loose the big guns to this time. 15 rounds is a long road to travel, and even for fighters of this caliber, the first steps along that road had better be careful ones. While Ali doesn't pack the power of Marciano, his flurries can hurt, and of course he's got to stay away from those looping body shots, which can slow him to a walk if they get home, and if they land, can lower his guard and set him up for the rock. There's the bell, round three, here's Guy.
Both men got the feel of leather in round two. Muhammad Ali even faster here in round three. The battle still in the center of the ring where Marciano doesn't want it. A good left-handed attack by Ali. Marciano has to worry. He cuts easily around the face and eyes. Round and round. He wants Ali to come forward. A solid left hand to the solar plexus by Marciano. That often hurts more than the eye can see at first. Ali slowed just a little bit. And again, solid shots to the body by The Rock. That's what he's been waiting for, that kind of target. But Ali keeps up the tap-tap-toe. He's faster than Ezra Charles, and he's landing with the left hand and hurting with the hooks. The Rock has a cut along the right eye. Marciano has half abandoned the plan to get his man against the ropes. Whoop, the Ali shuffle. Didn't seem to bother The Rock. This is round 3. Ali scoring with the left hand. Marciano missing the right hand more than usual. I've never seen him miss this much. But the target is highly elusive. He dances left, he dances right. Good solid left hand to the body by Marciano, but he takes several shots to the face and jaw by Clay. That right hand missing has got to be tiring The Rock. Neely had him, got away. The hard punching is obvious here in round 3. The power has been steadily accelerating. They hurt each other, but Muhammad Ali fights him off the ropes and scores to the jaw. Marciano is inside beautifully with the left hand. And Ali now shifts attack to the body. No doubt about it, they've gone to the big guns. They've opened up in this round. There's the bell.
Rocky's corner is reacting quickly to that slight cut over the eye. This is what Ali said he would try for, and here early in the fight, he's managed to draw first blood. You can bet that from here on in, it's going to be his prime target. Ali didn't get away completely untouched in this round. He's been taking his share at the body, and it's best to remember that Rocky said he generally took pretty good for openers, lost the early rounds, but felt the real test comes in the stretch run. Here's round 4, Guy Lebel.
Marciano has that right eye to defend here in round 4. Muhammad Ali again stepping around, not too fast this time. Well, the best defense is a good offense. Marciano's got one going here. He wants to fight. He's bullying forward a little now instead of just flicking the left hand, and he's hurting Clay inside. Muhammad Ali swinging around nicely, getting away. Marciano now is bullying in with the left hand. He holds his man a second, then he can bring the fists into play. Raking the body with the left to the right. Scoring better now than in the previous 3 rounds. Muhammad Ali getting a jab in, 2 hooks in. Marciano setting the pace, actually. A minute gone by, round 4. Marciano pausing just a second, then diving in with the left hand, and that's managing to get him inside. Power on those hands and hurting those hands. And the opponent has talked about how after 6 or 7 rounds of that, you can't lift your hands in the 8th or 9th round. Ali stepping up the pace a little bit now. He has cut the right eye again. It bleeds a little bit once more. Marciano has decided apparently to take more so that he can shorten the hitting range.